When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish.
The podcast that puts the in love.
Oh, yeah. Put it all the way in there.
You didn't like that so much.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today,
declutter.
We're going to talk about decluttering.
If at first you don't declutter, reclutter, and then declutter all over again.
Yeah.
You voted on it. You wanted to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it. And there's some gay shit about it. And we'll do that too.
There's definitely some gay shit about it.
But first, I wanted to give a quick update. People have sent in some of their gay champagne-related songs. So I wanted to mention Champagne by Mark Almond.
They all want a little taste of champagne.
Thank you from Twitter user Xentarco, with an X, not a C. And Pink Champagne by Steve Grand.
We were sipping pink champagne, pink champagne all night.
That was sent by Joe on our Facebook group. So thank you for sending your gay champagne songs. If you sent it other places, I might have seen it, but it's hard to find all the different places people send us things. So those are the ones I could find before this episode. So yeah, those will be on the Gayish listening list, which is what we call it now.
So listen.
Yeah.
Here's the news.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
Okay, news the first. So, the United Kingdom has expanded what they call Turing's Law to now pardon past same-sex convictions. So, basically, there was in 2017 they put in Turing's Law, and Turing's Law made it so that gay and bisexual men who had been criminally charged or prosecuted for doing the gay could be pardoned and have their records expunged. So, but it was limited to 9 former offenses, and this new amendment that is just now happening will widen the criteria to anyone officially warned or convicted for an abolished civil or military offense that was imposed due to consensual gay sex.
What was an official gay warning? No. No homo. That's the first no homo.
Yeah. That must be a military thing. Like they're worried about people's military records saying there's a big old no.
Yeah.
There.
I'm sure warning is also an official thing that they did or something, but that's just a funny idea that like you'd be in the street holding a boy's hand and they were like, oh no.
Yep.
Warning. Stop it.
Yep.
That's kind of gay.
So apparently you have to apply to have your conviction wiped from your record. And but the condition has to be legal now. And anybody involved needs to have been 16 or older at the time of the incident. The plan also includes pardons for dead people if they died before the amendment's ratification or within 12 months after it. So it's called Turing's Law in part because, well, Alan Turing, which we've talked about him a whole bunch on the show, but he was pardoned by Queen Elizabeth for the same-sex offense he was convicted of in 1952. And then in 2016 to 2017, that's when they came up with this pardon plan that they're now expanding or whatever. Interestingly, there are 65,000 men that were convicted under those laws that have been overturned. And in 2016, Lord John Sharkey, a British politician who I guess counts the gays, estimated that 15,000 of them were still alive.
Counts the gay counter?
Yeah.
That's why he's at the gay club so much.
Yep, indeed. One gay. Okay.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. News the second. Oh, God, Kyle, I forgot to tell you.
Okay, yeah.
I think all 3 news stories are pleasant today.
What?
I know.
What show are we on right now?
You caught me in a good mood, I guess. Okay, news the second. A Taiwan court has allowed a same-sex partner to adopt a child, which is the first time that has happened in that country. So the court ruled that a gay man was allowed to adopt his husband's non-biological child, and Taiwanese LGBTQ activists are calling this a sign of hope, and they're hoping to leverage this into getting the country's government to just allow same-sex couples to adopt. So a family court in the city of Kaohsiung allowed this man to become the legal guardian of his husband's daughter. The daughter was adopted by the husband before the two were married. So Taiwan is generally pretty progressive, right? But if, for instance, they have legalized same-sex marriage, and is the first Asian country to do so back in 2019. But they still have a bunch of restrictions on gay shit. And same-sex couples are only allowed to adopt a spouse's biological child and can only wed foreign citizens that are from countries where marriage equality exists. This ruling only applies to this one couple, however. And the thing I can't find or figure out is like, why was this one couple the exception? That part doesn't sail out at me from like the reports that I'm reading, but yeah.
I mean, usually it's a good thing, like, for it to happen once. Usually that's like then other cases can like point to them and be like, yo. But they did it. Also, I could not think of the third Kardashian's name, and this story reminded me that it's Courtney. So
okay.
I appreciate this news story for 2 reasons.
Great. Okay. Nice. News the last?
Kourtney Kardashian is in the news, folks. She still sucks.
Do not put her on the Instagram list of things in the news, Dan.
Then people think we're actually gay.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay. My indifference about the Kardashians approaches that of Taylor Swift. Like, Keeping
Up with the Kardashians is such a good show. My God, it's thrilling. It's a heart pounding. Dive in. It's just good TV. It's just good TV, Mike.
Great.
This episode is brought to you by the Kardashian family. We're here for you.
News of the last?
Sure.
Figure skater Timothy Leduc has become...
How confident are you on that?
It's Leduc. Leduc. It's either Leduc or Leduc. But they have become the first openly non-binary athlete to compete at the Winter Olympics.
Oh, cool.
They them pronouns, and they're a figure skater. And I guess they qualified for the headline is wrong. The headline is like in the past tense, but apparently this is the future tense, right? The Winter Olympics haven't started yet, but this, the U.S. Team USA U.S. figure skating has announced that Leduc and Ashley Kane Gibble will be our pair competitors. They have a pioneering style that shatters stuffy skating traditions.
Yes, suck it, skating. We're new skating.
Oh my God. But yeah, they're 31 years old and are openly non-binary, and that's making history.
Yeah. It's so weird, especially in some of these places where it is like men's and women's like are the only option. So when you're non-binary, you kind of have to then qualify for like one of those in spite of not being either. It's such a weird dichotomy that's set up, and I'm glad people are starting to break it. I know on the women's team there was also a non-binary soccer player, so like I feel like these things are starting to get in there. But
yeah, we've said it quite a few times that like it's weird that there's still the first this, the first that, but like the things that are the first are seem to be like more niche now because a lot of the bigger glass ceilings have been busted through, and but now we're seeing variations on it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, let's see. So they
were not. This isn't their first. Apparently, in 2019, they were the first openly gay American skater to win a national title.
That's pretty great. That's pretty great.
Every glass ceiling.
They said, quote, "My hope is that the narrative shifts more to queer people can be open and successful in sports. We've always been here. We've always been a part of sports. We just haven't always been able to be open. I know that me being here and being able to be out now is only possible because of the many great people who came before me." They said, "I stand on the shoulders of so many amazing queer people that have pushed their way through this sport, allowing me to be open now." Mm-hmm. That's the news.
Awesome. Wow. I feel too happy. Tell me something bad that happened, Mike. Maybe just you personally.
Well, yeah, okay. I like totally slammed my hand in the door of the Jeep when I was unpacking shit earlier, and it hurts real bad.
Do you think that was God punishing you for being gay?
Probably.
Okay, that's fair. I would like to punish the following gay people as well.
Great.
Thank you to following Patreon members. Daniel Coopers or Coupier, probably.
Named it.
Adam, now anything that ends in an R, I want to do like French. Tessia, maybe. Michael Doherty, which I feel like we had a bunch of Dohertys before. And so I don't know if this is all the family finally got in or just unrelated. I don't know. Ryan Clark. Thanks, Ryan Clark. That's probably like Ryan Clark.
Okay. Wow.
And I got no iPad. All one word. So that's,
I got no iPad.
Yeah.
Is it the first name is I got no and the last name is iPad?
Nope, this is all one word. Again, screen names from AOL Instant Messenger starting to trend on the Gayish Patreon feed. Just all one word. If you, like the following folks, want your name read, quote unquote read
sort of
on the show, and if you want bonus episodes a day and get episodes a day early, join at patreon.com/Gayish podcast. Decluttering.
Yeah,
so
let's talk about decluttering.
Our super gap bridgers at the highest level not only get to pick an episode of their own choosing, but every month get to vote on what episode they want us to talk about. And this month, in honor of the new year, they voted for decluttering. And thank fucking God we don't have to talk about diets. I'm so happy. I mean, I know that was your vote, Mike, but I just...
Well, and yeah,
I've heard you explain keto enough times that I didn't need you to do it on air. So thanks, fair. Everybody.
That's fair.
Keto, I think, is the new what's heavy gym lifting thing that's potentially dangerous.
CrossFit.
Yeah, keto's the new CrossFit.
I mean, they all go together.
They do all go together, like douchebags and Monster Energy drinks. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about decluttering. And to me, this is goes in kind of in the theme of gay men are supposedly very neat, fastidious, tidy, organized,
anal retentive.
Do you get that stereotype still? Like, do you feel that kind of pressure to be that kind of gay? And are you that kind of gay?
Good question. Am I that kind of gay? Obviously not. I struggle from time to time with just boxes of shit all over the place, and some of that is my attempts to get rid of my natural clutter tendency, because at least it's in boxes. Boxes somehow are more tidy than just like piles of stuff, I guess.
Loose items around, sure. That's technically true.
Yeah. I think that my gut tells me, though, that stereotype is one that is waning or something. And I'm not sure if that's true. It's just sort of a feeling that I have that, like, the uptight gay with the clipboard stereotype that is the person that like arranges their underwear drawer by day of the week or something. Like, I feel like I haven't seen it that much lately, like in media or in. I don't know where I'm going.
You just don't
with that,
watch home and garden TV shows, do you?
Maybe no, I do not. Do you think it's still out there as a active stereotype?
I just think the fact that we still have Queer Eye is that to me is like one of I think one of the first things that launched gay men into this kind of popular. I think gay people have always been in this kind of like organizing, decor kind of space, and that for the public consciousness, like put gay men in the forefront of like, we will organize and fix shit. And it's, I think a lot like Will and Grace, it's one of those things it's very useful seeing gay men doing things other than, being like, what storylines did we get before? Having AIDS, fucking, like all those things are fine. It's just when that's all you're known for, it's nice to have like, oh, this, like these people are like good and happy and helpful, and this is a family friendly show. But also then it's like that becomes the expectation of gay men. And we've talked about how like even good stereotypes are shitty, because then when you don't fit that stereotype, this is absolutely a stereotype that I've had to struggle with, where people will be like, oh, like you're gay, like help me organize, or help me like, pick out whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. I'd like
just say no,
no, I can't do that for myself. Like, it's one that I've like tried to pretend like I'm good at doing, like decorating and all that shit, and have finally been able to like kind of give up on pretending with people. So, I wanted to read an article that it's interesting. It's from 2007 on the OC Register by Amy Alkin. And it's a user asks a question to this website. And the question was, are all guys who aren't gay gross slobs?
Oh, and some of the gay ones. Yes.
And that to me is like a perfect representation of what society expects out of both gay men and straight men. And it's interesting because there's like in the article, Amy like talks about things that sound sciencey and sound real. So even though I think all of this is bullshit, it's interesting hearing what they say, like how they're justifying this kind of, perpetuating these ideas. So I wanted to read a little bit more about it. Can't you
just say people are saying ... and then
people are saying that anyone who's not gay is disgusting. The last line of this, I think, sums it up very well. Quote, "The truth is straight guys just don't have the filth vision that women and gay men do." So what?
That's upsetting. Okay.
I got filth vision.
Phil.
and I see you.
Yeah.
I see your filth.
Dirty vision.
So dirty, so filthy. The female brain, according to Amy, who references sciencey people, the female brain takes in more sensory data than does the male brain. She's referencing brain researcher Michael Gurian, who wrote a book, What Could He Be Thinking? And says that women in object recall tests, which I guess is how they're measuring this by the New York University psychologist Erwin Silverman and Marian Eels, women remember the name and placement of 70% of items more than men did. And they said that studies show gay men's attention to environmental detail is similar to that of straight women. There are a lot of studies that I saw a bunch of studies that say like gay men's brains are like that, more like that of women's than straight men's, or like there are a lot of things that use science to categorize gay men in with the same behaviors and attitudes as women. And so this one is following that same trend of placing gay men along with women. They round out this paragraph by saying, quote, "At that rate, it shouldn't come as a surprise if a guy doesn't notice the dog hair, beer cans, and Taco Bell wrappers, at least not until they start blocking his view of the game."
Oh, great. Yeah. Fucking bring it.
I can't see the game. Move the Taco Bell wrappers. Also, Taco Bell's delicious. So, like, this should not be a gay or straight issue. We can all just agree it's delicious. It's a natural enema, and it's great. It's wonderful.
The next time you're gonna have your colonoscopy, skip that weird shit you have to drink that makes you poop things you haven't even eaten yet. Just go to Taco Bell.
Boy, if you can plan the hours in advance that are needed. But so I mean, I don't know. To me, like, it's weird because surely there's more advanced. I don't know. I could not find like more recent studies to talk about, like, have people studied gay men specifically and their ability for like looking at environmental detail or environmental recall. Let's see. They say that in the article, men can be obsessive about detail. Explains this Michael Gurian, the brain researcher, who I'm of course very skeptical of, but men's mental and visual attention is usually single-minded and achievement oriented, which these kind of starts to also describe some of the stereotypes we have of men versus women. Like, men are achievement oriented and single-minded, whereas women can think about a bunch of stuff at the same time, and they're cool. According to many researchers, a guy's tendency to let his home become a pizza crust wilderness refuge probably traces back. If I met a guy whose place was a pizza crust wilderness refuge, I'd probably be like, I think we're going to get along.
Oh, I just would worry about ants. That's how you get ants.
I would be like, this is disgusting. You didn't eat your pizza crust? Who
Right.
doesn't eat the pizza crust?
Right. It's the best part sometimes.
It's like a delicious, you got to get that cheese stuffed crust, bro.
Oh,
I'd say
okay.
before he stuffs my cheese crust. What?
I'm back out now.
Oh, you don't like, wait, okay. You don't like cheese stuffed crust?
No.
Have you tried it?
Yes. I like a good bready crust with nothing in it that I can enjoy the yeasty bready goodness of it.
But
And
what makes
the cheese gets in the way and fucks that up.
Wow, you you come off so dislikable sometimes. Okay,
This is it. The show is over. We're gonna fight about this.
this is worth it. This is worth it. I just don't. What you're saying is utter stupid nonsense.
Great.
What you're describing, like, what wouldn't be better than adding cheese to the yeasty goodness of bread? Like, why would you? I don't know.
Just not putting. That's not just not in it.
But stupid. Okay. So back to quote unquote science. And I think we've talked about this, and I forget which of you has mentioned that. It goes back to a guy's tendency to let his home become pizza stuffed cheese crust wilderness refuge. Probably traces back to our hunter-gatherer past. Men's visual strengths correspond to what would make them good at being hunters, like distance vision, mental focus to track and bring home dinner, whereas women's peripheral vision and processing of detail, it says, helps spot the family's favorite edible plants in vegetation. I feel like, but women back in the day also had to make sure they didn't get eaten, so had to look into distances. I don't know. Some of the did one of you mention that this shit has been disproven, like the hunter versus gatherer, men versus women kind of breakdown in evolution?
I'm not remembering if that specifically was something that, but a lot of the sort of the what's that word?
Sexual dimorphism.
No. Yes and no. A lot of the like anthropological assumptions about early gender roles have been disputed. So
got it. Okay, that's
about particularly around child rearing and promiscuity and monogamy and things like that. That's what I've read up on mostly. But yeah,
interesting. Yeah, so I don't know. I think that one of the reasons I bring this up is like this directly speaks to like there are these stereotypes that women are the ones that take care of the home and have more of a mind for and attention to detail and take care of things. Gay men often get included in with the women in these kinds of things. And I mean, just looking at it, like I'm not bringing any contradictory studies or anything, just my own personal skepticism of these kinds of breakdowns. But reading this, it seems science-y and it seems real and it seems like it would make sense. And you add that with, you know, some of the popular culture things we see, like Queer Eye, like a lot of the gay men that are on home renovation shows, and you know, gay men and queer people did contribute to like interior decorating in those kinds of areas. And so I could see where this assumption that all gay men are good at this shit can get built. And even if you did a little bit of your due diligence to try to figure it out, you could get this idea confirmed. And I don't know, I do know, like one of my exes was very good at this shit and did like, you know, had little like, oh, I'm going to take this, you know, weird old pot and stick these weird old feathers in it. And now it looks like a super cute thing. Like did all that shit that I would never think to do. And but like in real life, my experience is not that every single gay man's apartment I go to is like very nice and pristine. It seems to contain the same multitudes that straight people's places do.
Yep, for sure. Absolutely.
Do you have that same like personal experience?
Well, I mean, there are some very like meticulous gay living spaces that I have observed, but it's definitely not most. Like they stick out because it sticks out. Like it's not like every gay apartment is this just beautiful, meticulously groomed place. And like you said, it runs the gamut. And yeah.
And so I just think it's important to at its basic level, one of the things we're trying to do and talk about is like, it is okay if you are not that gay. It's okay if you are that gay. And if you want to be an interior decorator where you're like, oh fuck, but I'm gay and I'm like, just fucking do it. Also, if you're not, like, that is okay if you don't have a meticulous apartment. And I feel like people I hang out with tend to be that, not the like, you know, make dumb assumptions about, but I could very easily see how someone would be like, oh, you're gay. Why isn't this all organized? Like, if you are not that type of person, like so many people are like that and just have regular apartments that can be messy or kind of clean or kind of nice or kind of not, or modern or weird or nothing, or look like a bachelor's, you know, like that part is totally fine. And you don't have to think that is one of those things that has a potential to give people the incorrect feeling of failing, even if they are on par with most, you know, the average person. And I hate that. That's one of the things that comes along with, like, it's just the shit that no one would talk. Like, there's so many difficult things about being gay. Like, who goes into the, like, oh, the weird moral failing you feel about not having a beautifully decorated apartment. That's so low on the list. People don't talk about that part of it, but that's still something that enters into the daily lives of gay people. And it sucks that there's just that level of like, man, you can be made to feel shitty about so many things in your life when you're gay, including that.
Yeah, watch me. Here I go.
Yes, exactly. That's what I got.
Well, this sort of dovetails nicely to the next segment, which is called Tim Gunn Hates Marie Kondo. We both looked up.
I'm shocked by this. Oh, no. Okay, I'm not shocked by this information. I didn't know which way we were going with this.
We both came across this. So Tim Gunn, who is like homosexual royalty, I think, like, and
kind of fits a lot of the stereotypes that we are discussing just now.
Absolutely. He's a fashion consultant and is the mentor on Project Runway to all of the designers. And is just like always buttoned up is the phrase, I think. Just always very groomed and slick. And anyway, so in 2019, he was on the One Way Ticket Show podcast and said, quote, "I have been asked twice to conduct an interview with Marie Kondo, and I have twice declined. I'm not a believer, I don't subscribe to her methods. This whole business about sparking joy. I mean, I have a huge number of books. Do they all spark joy? Roget's Thesaurus does not spark joy. Am I going to get rid of it? No.
I loved that thing that he said. Like that is, yeah.
Things have more purposes than sparking joy.
Yeah.
And that is valid. So Marie Kondo, we should talk about her for just a little bit in case people don't know. Got famous for helping people tidy up and had a Netflix show called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. And that's her whole thing, right? Like going around and like pick up a thing, a tchotchke, whatever it is, and ask yourself, does this spark joy? And I didn't watch the show, Kyle. But like that's what everybody says. Like,
yeah, I watched it. She had a book before that a lot of my friends really liked, and yeah, I feel like there's a certain level of believing in the aura and that things around us speak to us in ways if we listen to yourself and your surroundings. Like some of the shit that I don't totally buy into. So like, does this thing spark joy? Like, I don't know. This is a t-shirt. I don't really care. Like none of the only shirt that sparks joy is my Britney Spears one. And that I just like it. And maybe that's why I wear it 15 times like a month, but like, I don't know. There's like, I don't think my things speak to me in that way that like this way of doing things is useful for.
Yeah. Well, and like, sometimes I'm chronically depressed. Nothing sparks joy. Fuck you, Marie Kondo.
Throw out everything you own because nothing sparks joy. I get like, yeah.
So her show on Netflix, Tidying Up with Marie Kondo, Tim Gunn continued on his tirade about her. Quote, I watched 3 minutes of the first episode and thought, I can't take this any longer. But then friends and colleagues said, you should really try it. It's actually a good show. So I thought, well, I'm going to watch the one. He saw an episode that featured a gay couple trying to get rid of some books. Quote, it took 4 or 5 sessions to get through that episode. I could only take so much of her, and I learned nothing that helped me with this whole process. But I did learn this. At one point when she's arriving in the morning, they all act as though they've never seen each other before. Well, you were just here yesterday, and it's day 11. I would have thrown myself on my sword if Marie Kondo was coming to my apartment and it was day 11 of this. Let's speed it up, people. Yeah, he's just not a fan, which it's interesting because you would think of any of the queers in media, he would be her biggest fan. So is it because he's threatened by her? Should we start that rumor? Should we get in a fight with Tim Gunn? That would be really good for the show.
Well, this sounds like we'd be getting in a fight with Tim Gunn on behalf of Marie Kondo or something.
I think he maybe like there's a thin line between love and hate, Kyle. I think he might love her.
And it wears a pocket square.
Yeah.
I think we should start a new kind of tidying up method does this spark an orgasm? And if it doesn't spark an orgasm, get rid of it. Because why would you keep it?
I'd have to throw away everything but my nipples.
I'd have to keep everything.
Oh God. Yeah, I would think that maybe he has his own system or something. It doesn't add up to me that like they should be on the same team. A weird team that does not work for me.
I bet you're right. I bet he has his own thing. Like he seems like the kind of person that like has his decor organizing together enough to have his own process that if someone else has I bet that's it.
Yeah. Anyway, Tim Gunn hates Marie Kondo. It's like I would watch them fight. I absolutely would watch them, like a physical throwdown, like a celebrity deathmatch style. That would actually be a really good celebrity deathmatch.
That would
do you remember that
really
show?
Good. I do.
I loved that show. It's very, very frat guy.
What if Tim Gunn is secretly a hoarder?
Oh,
and that's why he hates Marie Kondo.
Well, that's a good plug for the Patreon segment.
It sure is.
Dan's going to talk about hoarders in the Patreon segment.
Spell hoarder.
Yeah. Putting the whore in hoarder. I love it.
I'm going to talk about Decluttering Epiphanies, an article from ladderminds.com by Michelle Connolly. And I picked this over others because it had the word gay in it. So that made me like it immediately.
Okay.
But so now we'll actually talk a little bit about decluttering advice. And I'll be curious to see what you think about these. There are 4 epiphanies she wrote about.
Okay. And I'm back. I'm on board now.
What?
I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with my brain today, but I thought decluttering epiphanies was like, how do you get rid of epiphanies? But no, these are epiphanies about decluttering.
Yes.
I'm back in. Okay.
Okay. Yes. First of all, we only need stuff for the life we want to live. So she talked about how when she was first married, she kind of had this idea that she was supposed to like host people and have big gatherings. So she had a bunch of like kitchenware, dinnerware, flatware, and it was like she stopped trying to be that person and doing that. So like things that you no longer either like things from a past life that you don't use anymore, or things that were things you thought you were supposed to be or supposed to do that you are not. Those are good things to start with in decluttering and getting rid of things.
It's interesting because there is a significant amount of my personal clutter that is in the space of stuff that I want to do someday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that person yet, but I aspire to be. And then there's a bunch of self-flagellation, of course, because every time I come across it, I'm like, well, why haven't I fucking started that yet? But
what kind of things fall in that category? Does anything come to mind?
Like I have a whole bag of stuff for crocheting, which I did pick up crocheting once at one of our retreats. Actually, one of our Dungeons and Dragons friends taught me how to crochet, and I made a square. It's but like, and then I put it back in the bag, and like I definitely don't remember how to do it even a little bit. Or like I'm really into like electronics, and have a bunch of stuff for like working with little circuits, and a soldering iron, and a bunch of components that you could like make your own radio out of or whatever, and those are all in a box. That kind of stuff.
Are you going to make your own radio?
I would love to make my own radio. That would be awesome. Yeah.
But you can just buy one.
You can just buy one.
They already have radios. That's
true. Yeah.
Okay.
And they're almost certainly better than mine, right?
Yeah, no, but there is a balance of the person you want to be. It's like, is that a healthy aspiration that you may having this thing sitting there may actually help you do? Or is this like, there are expectations that I should be this kind of person that does this thing, and it's just not going to happen?
Well, now we're talking about my dildo drawer, Kyle. That's like, it's the bottom I aspire to be, and it's not happening.
How many dildos do you own?
Probably 8. I don't know if that's more or less than you would expect.
That's more.
Oh, wait, dildos as opposed to butt plugs. And ones that I've purchased or have been sent to me by listeners.
Oh. Yeah, you have to keep the ones sent to you by listeners for sentimental reasons.
Right, yeah.
Who else has like, oh, I did this creative thing and now people are sending me butt plugs. It's
right.
it's just a very unique group of people that can say that. Okay, but dildos plus butt plugs.
Like 8 or 9. I think.
How many have you used in the past year?
Used is a fun word, Kyle.
Why? How is that? Why do you have a question about that word?
Because because I'm going to assume that you mean inserted them into my butt.
No, I want to know the non-insertive uses you have used for your dildos. What else? Fly swatter? What else have you done with the dildos?
You ever pretended a big ass dildo was a giant ass dick and like slapped yourself in the face with it? Because that's kind of fun.
No. Have you?
Yes, of course I have.
Really? Do you have like floppity ones?
Yeah.
Oh, because like, big, hard, thick ones, you might just hit yourself and knock yourself out, and that'd be a weird thing to tell to your doctor.
If you ever see me with a mushroom-shaped bruise on my cheek.
You slapped yourself with the raw. I thought this was the rubber one. No, okay. I do not mean insertively. I mean used in any way. If you want to slap yourself with dildos, do it. And I need you to keep that dildo so you can keep slapping away.
So like 2 or 3 of them.
Okay. What
did it spark joy?
Did it? I'm telling you, if it did it spark an orgasm needs to be the new test.
Okay.
But I think the difference here is it makes sense. Like keeping like I would love to crochet, and like that could be a realistic thing that you may do. I think you want to be this bottom that you don't actually want to be. You think you should be this, like, I think you're holding on to those not because you actually want to be this great bottom. I think you think you're supposed to, or should want to, or are supposed to use more dildos or whatever. And so it's not like
This is not the conversation I thought we were going to be having today, Kyle. I'm very pleased.
Wrote down Mike's bottom, declutter Mike's bottom.
Did you really?
No, I didn't.
Because you are weirdly prescient about things like that sometimes. I think that part of my whole thing is I legit don't like the feel of dildos. I don't know if it's just a psychological thing or if there's actually something to like the nerve endings of my butthole. I don't know, but like a real penis feels different in a way that I enjoy, and like,
well, sure,
but like, I don't know. I've yet to meet a toy that I was like, oh, that could basically be a dick. It's the same thing. Like they're just not.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever put a toy inside me and been like, Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
Are you really here? Like, no, yeah. There's like okay, but like you're not only saying you have a bunch of them because of the bottom you want to be, but also saying you don't really like toys all that much, which
yeah.
Now even more, why do you have these?
Yeah, it's a great question. I need to de-dildo, Kyle.
Can we have like a gayish like auction, like a
people would buy my dildos. You know they would, Kyle.
I definitely do. Coming soon to Patreon.
Slightly
folks.
used.
That would be part of the sell. It would have to be slightly used. You would have to guarantee that you've used it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that is a good starting point for like, the life we want to have, like things, even if you actively do want to do things like, some of those things can still clutter up the place and make you feel bad for not having done them. But I think we're talking about a whole different category that is the kind of easier go-tos of things that you think you are supposed to be or supposed to do and maybe don't actively even want to when you really think about it. And that's what I think we're talking about with your dildos. And I think those are easier things to decide to get rid of. And it
Axum. Okay. Keep, sell, toss. I'm going to make 3 piles of dildos.
Epiphany 2.
Okay, great.
Keeping things for later stops me acting now. The example she gave for this epiphany was, quote, as I read, I used to highlight good ideas and dog-ear important things to act on. But in all my decades of reading books and highlighting and dog-earing, I have never gone back and looked through those reminders. Now, once I've finished a book, I will actually be finished with a book. That feels different and lighter. So taking that concept to, I know that I will not go back through this and after 10 years, I know myself well enough to know that I have never done that. And being realistic about who I am and what I am is very useful, I think, to keep in mind for decluttering.
Yeah. Books come to mind, right? Like that's a perfect example of like, I have a fuck ton of books, and it's stuff that I read, and like now it's my brain trophy or something. Like why is it there? So I can tell people I read it. But there's stuff that I legit might read again. I'm rereading Dune. So I clearly need a copy of Dune in my life, but like I don't need some random ass like car manual to a vehicle I no longer own. So
like they made a movie of Dune. You can throw out the book. It's fine.
Yeah, they're exactly the same.
Dune has way more visual hot guys than a book does. Which is it a picture book or a word book?
We've talked about my masturbatory fantasy life, Kyle.
Do you jerk off to the book Dune?
The pictures in my head about them, but not Dune. No. Yeah.
Okay. Somehow all of this is coming back to like your ass. It's interesting. I didn't mean for this segment to do that, but I'm not mad about it. Okay. Something that is in here. Epiphany number 4. The world has changed. It's time to catch up. And they're talking about paper statements, CDs, DVDs, books, those kinds of things. I think books are a different category. And if you have read books, I like your description of brain trophies. Look at how cool and smart and intelligent I am. I own books, motherfucker. Like I think that is a totally legit thing. And you can have guys over and be like, look at my books, now do me. Like you access my brain through my rectum. Like I am so smart.
Oh my God.
Impressed.
Who was it? Who was it? Somebody said that they won't fuck people who don't own books. Was that Alan Cumming? No?
John Waters.
John Waters. Yeah, it was John Waters. I don't want to bang him. I'm getting rid of my books.
I'll do John Waters.
Just on principle? Just to see what that mustache is like?
On principle and on action, or on human, I don't know. Yeah, I have a small selection of books, and usually I don't plan on going back and rereading them, but just like them, and I like having them around. Who's the painter that paints the flowers that look like vaginas?
George O'Keeffe.
I have a book from a museum that I got from a George O'Keeffe museum, and I love that. I'd never actually read it. It's just going to that museum was really touching and important to me, and so like I have a book that reminds me of that trip, and I love that. So like
filled with floral vaginas.
She like also painted other shit too that wasn't floral vaginas, and it was like very interesting.
This show has taught us anything, Kyle. Stick with what you know.
Vaginas is what I've learned personally. That's what we're talking about, right?
Great.
There's one thing Kyle gets it's vaginas. You know, they have 2 flaps, and you open them like you're opening a box of Oreos. You know, you just peel.
Like they're like a Ziploc. You can push them back together. And
you
seal
lick
it
each
closed.
side, and you can close it, and it stays fresh for later.
Wow. Okay.
Going back to Epiphany number 3, I will need some of this stuff, but I don't know what. So it's interesting talking about, and I definitely feel this, like I like there's a lot of stuff you keep because like I may need some of this, and it's like, okay, I probably won't need all of it. I may need some of it, and I don't know which items of these things I will need. Yeah. And that forces, and is it worth the possibility of needing a few of these things? Is that worth keeping all of them?
Yeah.
And so like that way of thinking, like of this stuff, is there anything I would actively miss this specific item of? You know, is it worth keeping all of these things for the potential of needing this one thing? I think that was a useful thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't read the gay line. Let's see. I started to worry we might need things I was jettisoning with gay abandon, by which I mean with hairbrush, microphone in hand, and Gloria Gaynor playing loudly in the background.
Okay.
I had to find the article to reference some kind of gay, otherwise it
Yeah.
wouldn't be gayish.
Do you sing into a hairbrush?
No, I
Is
don't.
that
I don't have a hairbrush.
If you did, would you sing into it?
No, I think I would sing into something cleaner.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
great.
I don't want to be singing into a thing like filled with my own hair. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just like, I
Yeah.
just be like, I need to clean this. I would stop singing, clean it. I wouldn't stop singing, clean it.
Yeah.
I own a comb like a regular person.
I mean, you also have a microphone right there in front of your face. If you wanted to pantomime
God.
singing into a microphone, you could pick up your microphone.
Oh, wow. The next time I pretend to be Michael Bublé, I should do that.
Yeah. Wait, the next time? Like it's happened before?
No, the first time is what I meant. The very first time I pretend to be Michael Bublé.
Great.
I don't know. I'm giving tips that I'm reading online because I don't do this stuff. I don't declutter.
I tend to hide my clutter pretty well, like in boxes, in closets, and stuff. But sometimes I don't hide my clutter very well at all, and it's very apparent. So, like,
what is the oldest? I feel like you're a person that has old weird things somewhere hidden from yourself. What is the oldest, weirdest thing you have somewhere in your condo?
Oldest, weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Presumably something of Alyssa's or from the Alyssa era.
I wasn't gonna. I was gonna let but yeah, it jumps to mind.
Just edit that out, and it'll seem like he has
Seem
that
natural.
epiphany on his own.
Well, like I have the candlesticks from my mom and dad's wedding.
They're not still married,
They are divorced. Yeah.
so you're holding it on in the hopes they'll get back together. Are you gonna parent trap them?
Maybe. I have my first wedding ring. Does that?
No, I think that to Alyssa, right?
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that's
I have both of them. I don't know why I didn't say that.
Oh. Can you like forge them together and like start to form the Olympics, and you'll have one when you have enough rings to make the Olympics logo or something?
Yeah. One ring to rule them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One ring to rule all bottoms or something.
Right.
Yeah, those are some kind of weird things that you own.
Yeah. Great.
What else you got?
I have a very involved setup for a joke.
Okay, saying that in advance always makes it funnier.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about a completely different kind of decluttering altogether. Do you know who Truman Capote is?
Yeah, I heard of him.
Yeah, gay author, openly gay author. He wrote
Star of the Truman Show.
He wrote a book called In Cold Blood, a true account of multiple murder and its consequences, in which the Clutter family was murdered in their home in Kansas.
Oh,
They were decluttered.
Oh no! That just made up for all the positive news stories. Good work, Mike.
I needed to burn some of that karma, I guess. But yeah, it was the Clutter family that the book In Cold Blood was about, and I never actually read it. I only know it because of the movie. Philip Seymour Hoffman played Capote in Capote, right?
It was called Capote.
So Truman Capote wrote that book In Cold Blood about the Clutter family getting murdered, which is an interesting story. They ended up two people were convicted of those murders and given the death penalty.
He started the true crime trend.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. He was only 5'4", which I didn't realize that he was so short. Which is kind of funny because isn't Philip Seymour Hoffman a monster person? Like, anyway, but he did an awesome job in that role. And but Capote was openly gay, which that is pretty early, right? The 50s. But he also professed to have had numerous liaisons with men thought to be heterosexual.
I've been to college too, Truman Capote.
Right. He claimed that he banged Errol Flynn, who was a straight dude.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Errol Flynn is? From movies? movie star. Okay, well, anyway, I think it's really, really interesting that he like is the stereotype, right? Like he professed to be a straight guy predator, and that's like one of the big stereotypes about gay men is that like we're trying to bang straight dudes left and right at any cost, right? Anyway,
to clear up that stereotype, I am not seeking out straight men, but I'm not seeking out straight men.
Right.
I mean, they are also men.
I mean, yeah. If you fell into a straight guy's lap and he was down, like, you know, if a straight dude fell into your lap, it's probably anyway.
Yeah, I've fallen onto a straight cock or two.
Yeah, that's really all. Like he's an interesting dude. Truman Capote is an interesting dude, and he wrote a book about decluttering.
He should also get in a fight with Marie Kondo.
Yeah, I would watch that fight, I think.
Is he still live?
No.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like this was exacerbated during COVID, but like just little like groups of lots of clutter, but like I like on the like this bench, I have here all the things I need for when we podcast remotely, and they just stay there in that little pocket. And like on my nightstand, I have like these items. I just have like these little groups of like kind of messy things. Once when I traveled, I came home and my now ex had like reorganized the place, and I like change is a lot for me, especially like my home. I'm like very protective of my home, and that's like my safe place and like where I go to get away from people and outside forces and everything, and sometimes just be depressed and stuff. It's great. And so I came back and things were different, and I was like, I don't know why this thing stood out, but I was like, on the entryway table, I had a pencil, and that pencil's now gone. Where did that pencil go? And he was like, oh, I just like put it over there. And I was like, okay, I'm going to need to go and get that pencil and move it back to the entryway door. So like, I feel like I have this weird, there is like part of that feels like the stereotype of like being like, all your stuff is in its place and like kind of anal retentive, but not in a way that's like super clean. That's like kind of messy, but I don't know.
All right. We have got to talk about the Airbnb that we just got done being in. I think that this is, it fits right in with this topic, right? So our Dungeons and Dragons group twice a year in non-COVID times, this was the first one that we've done all together in 2 years, but we twice a year go for a long weekend to a cabin, an Airbnb, a beach house, something, and just play Dungeons and Dragons, get fucked up, and play board games. We just went to Long Beach, Washington, and spent the 4-day weekend there. And the person who owns this place is insane. I found it creepy, but like literally every slot in the kitchen, in every drawer, every individual kitchen utensil had its own perfect spot and label maker label on it. And then there were labels all over the place. How many labels do you think were in that house?
Oh my God. I mean, like, and it wasn't just like a label for this is where the plates go. There were 12 dinner plates had a spot, and then 6 serving platters had a spot, and then 7, whatever. Yeah, it was
12 8-ounce mugs. Like,
very specific.
Very, very, very specific. 2 funnels. One drawer said 2 funnels. Like, it gave me so much anxiety. I was legit afraid to touch and move things for fear that it wouldn't make it back to the designated spot, and then the ghost of this person would appear in my home and I would be axe murdered or something.
You would be decluttered.
Like, yeah. And I maybe that's this person's point. I don't know, because the instruction manual to the house also was like, if anything is out of place, then I have to recheck everything. To which I respond, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
You're choosing to because you are a crazy person.
Yeah, they're very much like, it seemed like someone who should not own a vacation rental property if that's the level of like
only rent to non-humans, weird person, because humans are going to human and they do human things.
Yeah.
And you were trying to eliminate human behavior.
But I think we put everything back to where it belongs, so I think it worked.
I still very much doubt that we did it right.
Oh, I think between our group, we probably returned everything back to exactly where it was supposed to go.
I don't know. And the propane guy was hot.
I missed the propane guy.
Oh, yeah, he was hot. Okay.
I think that's all I got.
Okay. Did we do it? We decluttered everything?
We did something.
How much is there to say about decluttering?
Roughly an hour and 6 minutes worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Dan's going to talk about hoarding in the Patreon segment. We talked about Marie Kondo. We talked about our own personal stuff. We talked about a murdered family. We talked about
your butt.
My butt. Show done. Over.
All the usual suspects. Yeah. Got it.
So should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break. I'm going to clean this shit up.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We cleaned everything, including Mike's ass, and now we're back and decluttered and ready for you.
Yeah, I got decluttered real good.
Somehow all 8 dildos have been used.
Oh my god.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest, but first, our website is gayishpodcast.com.
All of our socials are at Gayish Podcast. We are on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, we have a Facebook group, we have a Discord. Join us and talk to us.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, is 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109.
And now people know not to send you any more dildos, maybe, for the time being?
I mean,
or do what you want.
I like getting stuff. Like, okay. I'd rather have dildos than not anything.
Okay.
So,
girl, same. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. A couple of things. So first, Minecraft. Our Discord server has a Minecraft group, and there's been a server for a while for Minecraft, but it's been refreshed, renewed, rebooted. There's a brand new world, a whole new world. And tonight, Thursday, January the 13th, at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, so that's 6:30 p.m. Pacific, they're going to turn the new server on. And so if you want to get in on the ground floor, tonight's the night to do it. But they want to do what WoW is doing and have Minecraft night once a week. They're going to do it every Thursday, again at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So
that's
check
so
it out.
Cute. Is Minecraft the one where you hit the tree a bunch until you get some wood, and then you pick up the wood, and then you go over and like hit the ground, and you can dig up like a rock or whatever?
Indeed. Yes.
Oh boy. Yeah.
I know how much you like that. And last but not least, before we do Gayest and Straightest, after some soul searching and some long conversations and some prioritization and some decluttering, actually, in a way, we are going to stop doing Have a Nice Gay and hold on to the, I don't know what to say. We're just going to stop. It might come back someday. We never know, but like indefinitely, we're gonna stop. It's been fun. It's been a year, and definitely a valuable and worthwhile pursuit. And it's time to work on some other projects. And 2022, baby.
Yeah. I think it was clear to those who listen that you did a lot of the planning, organizing, editing of that. And I think you did something that was really cool and interesting and brought in a lot of interesting people to talk about things. So I love what happened with it, what we did with it. And now it's time to move on. So there's still episodes will still be up. There are 286 episodes. So exact, episodes are 3 to however many minutes long. So there's probably at least 1,500 minutes of extra content. If you have not listened to it and want to, you can always go check that out. Even though some of them are topical, not all of them are. So you can always go listen if you want more Mike and Kyle and friends and listen to just upbeat gay things. So I'm both glad we did it. And also you and I just have a lot of things we want to do, and we got to make decisions about what brings us the most happiness and what things we want to work on. And so, yeah, you can still get Hang merch and see us on the Hang website and listen to Hang content. And who knows, maybe someday in the future, when we have the bandwidth for a daily show like this, maybe we'll do more with it. We both like the idea, and the logo's super cute and all that stuff. So we appreciate everyone who has listened to it and supported it, and hopefully I'll keep supporting. We're going to keep trying other things in our lives and things that we are excited about and passionate about, and we hope y'all keep supporting all of those and just see wherever those journeys take us as well.
Yeah, I think we talk about it sometimes on the show, but it bears repeating. I think that we have full-time jobs that is not gayish, right? So the little projects that we do here and there that we have passion for and bandwidth for, that's on top of an entire full life and career and whatever. Yeah. So,
and on top of gayish, which is usually our number one priority, creatively.
Yep. I also I do want to quick say thank you to all of the contributors. We've had some really awesome, fun people that were involved that I feel like I've gotten close to over the last year, and hope to maintain those relationships somehow. The guys at Minority Report, Carell and Jarrell especially, and then Chris Hagee from We Read Movies being our quiz daddy. It's been really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. One other thing I wanted to mention is I mentioned the brain magnets that I am starting, or that I was planning, and that took a while in a Patreon episode a few months back. Those are finally getting started. So I don't know, have not yet had my first brain magnet session, but I have 40 some odd sessions scheduled of that, and have my fingers crossed, but also don't know what that means for myself mentally. Hopefully good things, but just hopefully you'll notice nothing different and everything will be gravy. But I just wanted to mention that, and as an update to the Patreon episode, and then also just let y'all know that's coming, so can use your thoughts and what have you on hoping that works.
I hope they work and make your butthole bigger.
My 2 biggest dreams, Mike. Give me all 8 dildos. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to do Gayest and Straightest?
Yeah, let's do our Gayest and Straightest. I'm happy to go first. The gayest thing about me this week is we just, as we mentioned earlier, went on our Dungeons and Dragons retreat, and I made sparkly potions for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I had these cute little bottles, and I wanted to make potions, so I did, and I put edible glitter in them, and they were adorable, and I felt very gay.
Very glittery.
Yeah. Some people are going to be pooping glitter for a while, I think. I don't know if that's even how that works, but yeah. And then the straightest thing about me this week, same trip, was I took my Jeep out on the sand. I drove the Jeep into the Pacific Ocean. It was fantastic, and had a couple of passengers along, and we went 4-bying on the beach in the sand, and it was magical.
Didn't I see some glamour shots of your Jeep on the beach come through on our thread?
Yeah, they're on our Discord server, and
you posted them too?
Yes, and we could put them on Instagram also.
Sure. Well, my Straightest also opened this weekend. The place we stayed at was really cool. Had this little playroom, but very different than Dan's playroom. But had a pool table, had a board for putting, what is that called? I already forgot the name. Shuffleboard.
That's not what I was going to say.
Had this Pac-Man style arcade thing that had all of these games. Playing in the game room, and I multiple nights played pool. That felt like the straightest thing.
You were so broy, Kyle. I know. You're like, Mike, do you want to come play pool with me? I'm like, who are you?
I was really excited to play. I even won a couple games of pool.
You did.
My gayest is I was trying to like get a beer off its little hinges thing. It's like one of those like fancy beers, so it didn't just have the regular plastic. It was like, I don't know. I think fancy local beers try to make their beers harder to get off because I don't know why, because they're that fancy. But I was like having a hard time getting this like canned beer off of its thing, and my instinct was to say, "Help me, I'm gay." A listener's Gayest and Straightest from our Twitter. This is from @Genic84 Gayest, deciding that this very queer nutcracker will officially be year-round decor, and they attached a picture of like truthfully very gay holding a pride flag, just super gay, which I love. We didn't mention this in decluttering, but like there's something to just having very gay things very outwardly like facing it brings me a lot of joy. Don't declutter things that bring you queer happiness. That's it. And then Straightest, deciding to leave my smoke alarm wrapped in a plastic bag because it goes off every time I cook. Also a picture of just like, like, fuck this, I know better than my smoke alarm kind of thing. So thank you for sending that in.
Yeah, smoke alarm condoms work.
Until they don't.
Yeah, till you poke a hole in it and
oh god, then the smoke
gets pregnant.
Through?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's it.
We did it. Thank you to
we decluttered
all the queer eye guys for making me feel bad about myself.
Thank you to the animators of Celebrity Deathmatch for making me want to see the Tim Gunn and Marie Kondo episode.
Thank you to Tim Gunn for putting that bitch in her place. I've been waiting for someone to take her down a peg.
She does not spark joy. Goodbye.
Yeah, suck it. And also, thank you to the following super cap bridgers who can as well suck it, but differently. Josh Copeland, Forrest Nail, Patrick Martin, Anonymous, Mark Walcott, James Sparrow, Explosive Lasagna, Christopher Farrell, Jamie Pugh, Kevin Henderson, Tipton McStumbles, Donald Linsky, Thomas B, Dusty Sands, A.E. Coleman, Chris Kachatorian, Jerome York, and Cian and Javi.
Yeah, that is it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Kachatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you.
See you next week.
Put it away in my butt.
All 8 of them? And
bless you.
You all right?
Dan sneezed and no one could hear it, but I saw it. That's weird. This is a weird dynamic. Okay.